Well, I had a very successful and rewarding time in the legislature. There are only 4, maybe 5 legislators north of the primitive area in the north part of the state. All the other 105 are down south. Mm-hmm. Now, I had a lot of knowledge of Idaho history, and there's been this constant battle between the north and the south, starting with statehood, who's going to divide up the territory. And then you had the mining and the natural resources against the political power in the south. And that's kind of changed because you have the technology business in the south now. But I went there and I was vocal that I'm going to bridge that gap between the north and the south. And I think a lot of people appreciated that attitude. I didn't go down there I didn't talk about down there. See, I still have that elementary attitude that I grew up with, down there. But I went to Boise, where the state capital is, and served with that attitude that, my people were part of the state too. And it was beneficial. There were people in southeastern Idaho, like in Du Bois. They have the same relationship with the central core of people that we have. So we needed to be kind of unified. And I think the difficulty is that people down there have a hard time knowing where North Idaho is. They admire it, they read about it, they see pictures of it, but very few of them get up this way. It's a drive, it's an 8-hour drive.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time in my life with a friendship with Don Johnston. Don and his family owned a fair amount of commercial property in the downtown area. So I spent a lot of time in the downtown area of Coeur d'Alene with Don. I also spent time as a boy around the lake here. And from the city park, which was my home, to Tubbs Hill was off limits to me. My dad and parents of my playmates wouldn't let us go there because it was junk and trash and somewhat dangerous with everything around there. Of course, that's probably the first place we went, but we weren't supposed to. So I've seen that change to the Coeur d'Alene Resort and the improvement of that entire lakeshore. And by the way, I advocated in favor of the resort. I stood for that. I don't know of many places in this country where you could see that type of development happen and have the owner provide walkways, music, flowers, and not have it fenced so that you couldn't, as Q public, get to it. So I haven't been troubled by that part of the growth. I guess I could be troubled by the growth on the lake because I can remember, paddling over to some beach and camping overnight and riding in Henry Anderson's boat to deliver groceries to maybe 6 houses between here and Mica Bay. Now houses are 100 feet wide on every 80-foot lot, and they're huge houses. And it's a different type of living environment. People will live in their house maybe just a couple weeks, or second homes and so on. Whereas in my day, those very few that lived on the lake, they were hardy and they struggled to live there. Yeah. For example, the Murphys, who didn't even have a road to their place. So I've seen those changes, and I've seen the changes on the prairie. I listened to we have to suspend the grass burning industry. The smoke is just awful. Well, forest fires make a great deal more smoke than the grass seed industry ever thought of making. And so I guess we got what we wished for. We suspended the grass seed industry. Now we have a prairie that's streets and houses, and they're surrounded by high fences. So I've seen all that. So you want to know what I think will happen in the future? I think...
Or how you'd like the future to be.
How I would like it to be? Peaceful. I think that it's going to develop more and more and more. I would say maybe perhaps someday the downtown area and the downtown residential areas are probably going to be high-rises. I think the growth is inevitable. I watched it come this far. What's to stop it? People like to be here. I like to be here. That was my lifestyle.